All right, go ahead.
David would like to say he's an award-winning author, an accomplished businessman, or a young Steve Jobs. He is none of those things, but he is slightly taller than the average man and one time saw a man who resembled Kevin Spacey. While he has a lot of topics saved up on ridiculous shenanigans occurring through his life, he has one more serious topic to present today. He is presenting to inspire the audience to adopt a mantra, a word in which every member should know, since it was the word of the day a couple months ago. Based on the life of his grandfather, the speech is titled, Live Every Day. David Schiff. Here's David.
And these are not notes. Fellow Toastmasters, no guests. A great man once said, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. And that was Mahatma Gandhi. And I didn't bring tape, so I will just put that right there. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. And the only reason why I reiterate that is it's one of my favorite phrases. It's always been a quote that I love. But until about a year ago, that's all it was. It was a quote. It was nothing more. But then my grandfather actually started going through some health problems. Probably a couple years before that, but it just kind of made me more closer to the scenario of life and death. And after he spent some time in the hospital, it truly became more of a mantra and a way of life for me, rather than just a quote. It was to cherish the day, to go out and better yourself every single day. And so I encourage everyone here to incorporate such a lifestyle into your own life. And I'm going to do that through the example of my grandfather. First of all, live every day as if you were to die tomorrow. When my grandfather was in the hospital, he was with my mom, who is his daughter, my sister, and my dad. And actually, unfortunately, I'm in Cleveland, they were in Birmingham, I wasn't able to be there. But he looked up at my mom, and one of the last things he told her was, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of dying. And he was 89. He lived a full life. He wasn't afraid of dying. I'm 23. I am terrified of dying. It's everywhere. There's death left and right. But at the same time, here's a man who you know he did something right if he's just not afraid of dying. And how did he do that? I honestly believe it's because he cherished every single day. And that's, I believe, also what Mahatma Gandhi is talking about. He traveled with my grandmother, not Mahatma Gandhi, my grandfather. That'd be pretty cool, though. He traveled with my grandmother all throughout Europe, all throughout their long, over 50-year marriage. He raised a wonderful family with my mom and her two sisters. He was a very hardworking businessman. He raised an insurance brokerage from the ground up, his own, and then sold it off for retirement. And every single day, he cherished life. And actually, one of my fondest memories was about a year and a half ago, I got a call from him. And it wasn't for any particular reason, other than he was sitting outside on his deck, soaking in some sun, and just reflecting on his life. And he said he was happy, he had no regrets, and he just was saying how happy he was with his family and his life decisions. And that's what I think we all need to do. We all need to take every single day and just live it to the fullest. If there's something you're trying to mark off your bucket list, if there's something else that you're trying to do it now rather than later. And realize that today, and I don't want to hit this too hard because it will totally collapse, today is the best day. Tomorrow is a better day. It's just always appreciating the value of life because it is so precious. Second of all, learn as if you're to live for forever. This is something he also incorporated because he had a thirst for knowledge every single day until the day he died. He wanted to better himself in any sort of subject. And actually, the burden of kind of going through all of his stuff when he passed fell on my parents because they were the children in the city. my aunts live far away, so it pretty much was on my mom. And we went through a lot of his stuff, cataloged and everything of that sort. To say he had enough books to fill a library was an understatement. He collected thousands of books, left and right, on Chinese culture, Greek food, religion. Religion was actually one of the topics that really, really inspired him, just because it wasn't that he was such a religious man, but he was so interested in other cultures and knowing what he didn't know. And actually, my grandfather was a phenomenal speaker and debater. And when he was 17, we actually had the newspaper article, he presented on a national level a speech he wrote about how democracy will prevail. And so he always was taking a step to better himself via speech, via learning, via all that sort of stuff. And actually, I brought a book that I felt everybody would appreciate. It's the Complete Speakers and Toastmasters Library from 1968. And so I guess I'll pass it around. It's kind of heavy, don't, you know. But it just shows that I argue that everyone in here has already achieved this half of the goal. They are halfway to achieving this mantra. Because by coming to meetings like this, by improving yourself, and by wanting to learn as if you live forever, you're halfway there. Because life is mundane if you just sit and do nothing, and sit and be established with the norm. If you're happy with your progress, you can never be happy with your progress. You've got to keep going and achieving farther. So why does my grandfather's life have anything to do with any of you guys? I honestly believe he's a phenomenal example of a life well spent. If you could sign up right now and say you have no regrets, I would sign immediately. 89 years is young, it's all that, but at the same time, at the end of your life, if you follow such a thing like this, if you live every day with a passion, if you live as if you could die tomorrow, but if you learn as if you could live forever, you shouldn't have any regrets, except for maybe that ugly Christmas sweater that you're probably going to wear later in the month. Thank you.